All right, so it's Monday morning. The story is the neighbor's bull got into our pasture, and my dad and I kind of tried to chase it out, and it was not working. Well, I trapped him in a little 12-acre paddock over the weekend so that the neighbors could come by. They were just going to take the bull and take it home because it's the end of its breeding season. This morning, he called me and says the gates had been pushed down between the pastures, so I'm pretty sure all of our 34 pair are all mixed on his side of the pasture now. And so that bull has caused a lot of issues, and so I'm heading up there to help right now.
Meet the Peterson family. Our dad, the three Peterson brothers, and our families farm together in central Kansas. Our family farm started in 1882 and has been raising cattle and crops ever since. Please subscribe to this channel and give us a like and a comment if you enjoy the video.
So far, they had 3 horses. They got their one bull off and in the trailer. And I haven't seen any of their cows yet, just my cows. So, trying to find them here. So far, we've got what I think looks like about 30 cows. I haven't seen the bull yet, so he might have gone off and gotten himself mixed with some other cows, but most of my cows are here, and they're not mixed. I haven't seen any of the other guys' branded cows. They were following pretty nicely, but then I had to back up and find a spot to get across this big, deep ravine. And now they're not crossing the ravine the best. We're also got to drive up on this kind of shed and the other guy's trailer and get through these gates. So hope the rest of the way goes all right. Those other 3 on horseback are out looking for others, I think. I'll have to call them in a minute. So there's the tail enders over there. And I think that concludes my count, because I don't think I had them counted. I only had like 32 here and I needed 34. So hopefully that's all of them besides the bull. Howard called and he said he had my bull. So I'm waiting here right by this gate. Let's see, the pickup over there. They have a pickup, 2 pickups and 2 trailers. 1 trailer for horses and 1 for the bull, I guess. But they're not really liking that, so I'm hoping to kind of wait till they're here with the horses. The green. There you can see them somewhere over there. Okay, they're on their home grass now. They're troublemakers this morning. Praise God they weren't mixed with neighbors' cows. So my dad's moving off bales as fast as Evan and I can make them. So that part's all cleared off. This alfalfa got 4 inches of rain on it. So going back across to this low water crossing bridge. Still mud down here from where the water level came up. But you can see the creek has gone way down. Here you can see the creek coming up really took out some trees and stuff on this sharp corner. And this is just grass we have here, not what we farm, but it's gonna eventually erode some more here. It had a lot of pressure hitting this bank all the way up to here. Okay, after changing our minds a couple times, we unhooked the baler, and Evan's backing up here. We're gonna hook it back onto the DMC and put down the sedan and we'll save that baling till tomorrow afternoon. So I'm checking some of this corn this morning that we've got some really nice rains on. We were expecting to be chopping this corn like a week from that night it rained, because we thought it was going to be hot and dry, and a lot of times, you know, our corn around here just runs out of moisture in the ground, speeds up its process, and you just have to chop it when the leaves start dying. Well, now it's you know, nice and green, and it's filling out these kernels like corn is supposed to do that has water. So we will actually be following the 1/2 to 2/3 milk line rule of chopping. You can see this has just started denting, which is where basically all the corn that we're going to chop is about the same stage, even though the planting dates were spread out a little. It seems like with the weather it's all pretty similar. We've still got a little time. If we chopped it now, it would be awfully wet. We have a couple speaking events coming up. We're supposed to be at Ag PhD days in South Dakota, so it'll be interesting how this all fits in, but that's always how it is. Like if we schedule something for August or end of July or whatever, it just seems like that's when chopping is going to be. We'll just have to keep watching it. It's just a little different than normal. Here's our forage blend after wheat.
We have like 100 acres here. This is where the cows, the fall cows, will come first after they have their calves in the lot. We'll bring them over here and they'll have some really good grazing. This stuff's going to be pretty lush. Get some good growth on it with all these rains. Sometimes it's really struggling this time of year and it doesn't grow as much till the fall, but you can see lots of turnips and radishes. They probably like the cooler weather. We'll see. Hopefully they hang in there. The sedan and millet is the grassy stuff. And we have a lot of volunteer wheat, which will be okay as long as it doesn't cause us disease when we drill wheat right next to it. Also have pigweeds coming through, which is annoying. But they will be competed hard against by all this other stuff. And hopefully the cows will eat them some. Look how they grow up above everything else so fast. They are the worst things in the world. I don't know if you guys have realized that, but I do not like pigweeds. Here's what pigweeds without competition do. This wheat stubble was sprayed once after wheat, and then, you know, we've kept getting rains. We got those small rains to sprout them, and then week of wet weather. No lie, these things have had to grow like a foot or more just in a week. I mean, they've gotten huge in no time. So next week we'll have to hit them again. When the weeds are growing like this, that's when I'm awfully tempted to like just till them. Like when we're doing second year wheat or something, just go out there and disc them. But of course, when it's muddy, can't go out there and disc when it's muddy either. And so they just grow. But that's what a lot of people, you know, just work wheat ground to keep the weeds down, and especially with like a second year wheat, continuous wheat, and that is a good way to get on top of kind of the seed populations as long as you're getting it done in time. And then a lot of the no-till people, especially like any farther east of here, you know, they just don't do second year wheat. We'd kind of backed off on second year wheat, but then with all this dryness we started doing more of it again because the weeds weren't growing that much in the summer. And also our second year wheat was out yielding our wheat after beans by 10 to 15 bushel an acre every time, which kind of pays for your time to keep the weeds down over the summer. And it also, like I said, gives us that opportunity to get on top of the seed bank and stuff. So, but when it's wet, then it feels like there should be something growing out there. But you still have to control the weeds even if you do have a crop growing out there, and it's a little concern, like in our forage blends, that there's as many pigweeds out there as there is, and they're gonna make seed even if the cows graze them some. And usually they start putting on seed heads by the time the cows get there anyways, and then the cows don't eat the seed heads, so it's just pretty annoying. But if we're at least competing with them and making an environment where they don't thrive as much, and then also leaving good residue to block them out from sprouting next year in whatever crop we grow. That's our strategy, but it's a never-ending battle, that's for sure.
We still have one big pen left here to haul manure out of here. It's not very often we're this wet while we're hauling manure in the peak of July heat. And so we've had to shuffle around cattle more because it keeps getting interrupted, but out they go. I'll put them over here so they can still have water while I'm doing this pen. We got Evan going on the swather. It's probably a little wet out there, but it takes like 2 weeks for that stuff to dry, so we've got to get it put down. They changed the forecast from having 3 days with chances of rain to only 1 day in the coming like 5 days, so we decided to swath.
Doing something a little different today. Combining Kernza, which is a perennial crop, which is kind of like wheat, but it grows back year after year. It's a little weird to be combining through. I mean, it's not totally green, but it's green underneath, but it's coming through the bin. This straw walker machine's actually doing a really good job of getting a good bin sample. So we're gonna cut several hundred acres for a neighbor of Kernza, and it's going to be hauled to Nebraska. There's a ton of Kernza research being done, and there's a lot to learn about it. And So that was one of the reasons why we took on this custom harvesting job, was just to learn a little bit about Kernza and yeah, learning a little bit about it.
1937, News Radio, 1150, KSAL. News this hour from
Back to hauling manure. Back in, going up. Now behind me you can see, almost see, the hoist. There it is. Going up. Got a big pile over here. More over there. Nathan did a little scraping.
What do you think of Kernza, Steel?
Spinner Peppers was bought that week. We got 170 head, and they've been eating starter till now, and now I'm going to start feeding them grower. They'll get 400 pounds of grower this morning, and then like 500 pounds tomorrow, and then I'll go to feeding them twice a day, increasing by 100 pounds every day. Who needs a cover crop when you can graze pig weeds after wheat harvest?
All right, we got it into the shop here. I'm going to try to put this cracker plate in that we got it with the cutter. We didn't run it last year because our corn was kind of on the immature side anyways. Here we're gonna have actual half milk line corn, and it seems like it would be beneficial to try this, so gotta try to stick it in there. All right, people, it's July 30th or something. No, 29th. What are we doing? We're still drilling. We're putting in another forage blend cover crop here. This field will not be grazed. It's kind of far from home. We planted that double crop milo like not very far from here. The last time these two fields were in wheat, we double crop milo on both of them, and this field made like 40 bushel an acre, not much fun to cut. And down there in the bottom ground made pretty decent double crop milo. I think it was like 70 or 80. It wasn't great because it was still hot and dry. Well, here we are again. We're back to wheat in the rotation. So my thought was, with how dry it's been, I thought, okay, we're gonna just do a cover crop on the upland field. So basically summer fallow it, then try to grow a really good corn crop next summer. That's kind of what they do farther west of here. And then we went ahead and did the double crop milo in the bottom field. Well, here we are a month later. We haven't been able to drill this because it's been raining the whole time, and that bottom ground field has been underwater at least once, maybe twice. Still alive. There's probably some drown out spots, and you know, it has probably driftwood in it. And this field would probably be doing great as double crop milo. Of course, it's not done yet. We're gonna stick with the plan. It's actually a little muddy in spots. Like, it's been kind of wet over here. That's why we haven't drilled it yet. But this will still have, you know, 2.5, 3 months to grow, stick its roots down and help the soil and add organic matter. And then, you know, we'll still kind of be able to compare this upland to the poorer upland on the other field next summer when we grow corn. We'll see if we can tell much of a difference where we did the cover crop and not. Risk, no matter what you do in farming, there's risk to plant a double crop or even a full season crop. You can only mitigate risk so far, and this should still be a successful practice, but it is a little frustrating that like it could have been a pretty good looking double crop probably. Well, this ground is still a little on the wet side. It is what it is. I think the cover crop will come up and do what it's supposed to do and hopefully have it nice and mellow next spring. See there, it's muddy. And it doesn't look any lower than everything around it, but it must be a little swell. Then even this pass didn't really do anything.
So I drove past the zipper spider yesterday. They got that zipper that crosses right there in their web. Big spider. By my mineral bin here. I'm on my second load. My dad's starting his load there. I finished the field here that Nathan started yesterday. He did about 40 acres. I did about 40 acres. And now this air seeder is done. I'm going to fold it up, take it back to the yard. My dad is finishing up the Kernza that Greg started yesterday. Got some baling to do before a chance of rain tonight. Filling up the corn bay. And we brought a bunch of bales down, fill up the hay side as well. Got another one. It said 40% chance of rain at 6, about 5:57. Clouds got darker and it started to rain, so it starts raining on this door. And a big splash. And a splash pad. Lower it down. I'm in the tractor while my dad welds, and I am buying cattle here with my ticket. Listen on my phone.
I know, it's like...
Get right down the middle.
Yeah, it's pretty flowers. Very pretty. When you wish your wife were here. This might be twice as big as our sprayer. Or at least pretty close.
Three, four, tractor! Get a little louder. 1, 2, 3, 4, tractor!
I sent my mom with our hay trailer, and I'm gonna bring a second load. These bales are a little farther away over by Greg's house, so we're bringing 2 trailers at once, so we only have to don't have to wait around. All right, I'm heading home with a full load. My dad is loading. My mom and I switched semis, so I've got a semi, but she helps my dad load. Time to get these unloaded. Gonna put them in between these 2 cattle pens. It's one of our last resort places to put bales, but we gotta save some place to put millet and sorghum sedan bales. There's next load of hay coming through. And Evan's welding there in the shop. There it comes. That trailer holds, I think, 30 bales. It's double across the top. All right, unhooking from the hay trailer after just that, that one haul, that one load, and hook onto the cattle pod because I bought some cattle on my phone today. I spent at least $60,000 clicking around on my phone. So while I was helping my dad and Evan get welding, I had kind of decided to take this week off. The markets are so high, and Greg and Nathan had been gone, and I'm going to be gone some next week. But talking to my dad, we had like 5 days in a row in the 80s instead of in the 90s or up towards 100. So we decided to go ahead and just try to buy some in Salina. They were really high in Junction City, where I had a guy looking yesterday, and then El Dorado didn't have very many, so I just bought some on my phone without having to go into the sale. I gotta go pick them up now. And what happened was it blew off the top up to like almost 340 on feeder cattle, and then dropped $8, which is the largest move that it about can do. So it was up a little bit to start today and then down hard. So we'll see what happens. We have some cattle probably to sell next week. Let's hope that it stays about steady. I don't need it to keep going up. I just need it to stay, stay where it's at, or it can drop a little bit. Just don't fall out of bed. All right, I'm bringing these steers. They're gonna go on the bottom of my truck. Blair rode along with me, so she's there by the truck. If the feeder cattle board goes down like it went down today, these will be the most expensive steers purchased in all of 2025 and in all of our history. There's a few heifers on top too. Not a full load today. Reach in there. We got a beautiful, nice, cool morning to sort some steers. I'm going to be gone 3 days next week. Going to be out of state with Greg. Currently, Greg and Nathan are gone. They're in South Dakota at Ag PhD days. I'm going to get these sorted with Dad so that they'll be ready for next Thursday. I'm doing it a few days early here, but nice full pen of steers, 140 head here. We're just going to take the top 60 off. I don't think there's any more than 60 that weigh over 850 pounds anyway. Highs might be in, they might not, but we have some steers to sell for next Thursday. Adding one more to there. He might come back off. I think we have 65 in the pen. That's one of the smallest ones, but I might need him. So this side over here is the bigs, and down there is the mediums. And then we have one that's kind of got a slight limp to it, and 2 heifers on their own pen. These mediums are going to go back to pen 9. The bigs are going to go to 6, which is open from when we did hauled manure out and did dirt work. It's our only empty pen at the moment. But our pens aren't full yet, but we have smaller amounts in the pens. Running calves. We're getting them worked and getting a load of stillers. So we got these cattle worked. First morning they were here. Most of the little ones I bought were all heifers. So basically they're gonna go to a different pen with some sucking calves we bought last week. These are mostly steers, they're big. When they're full, they're gonna weigh closer to 650. Getting to that point in the summer when it's time to shuffle some cows around. Gonna catch a few of these older fall cows, bring them home, put them on weeds, and eventually silage at the home place. All right, I've got 6 out of 8 in the front of the trailer. I got 2 more out here. I'm gonna leave those young heifers here, take the 2 older cows. Spot in the back easily has room for 3 cows, so it shouldn't be too bad to get these 2 off and loaded. So along with those bunk lines we got the other day, we got these hot shots from Green Acres. And so far I've only had to use it a couple times. We don't use a hot shot very often, but I have it with me today. It's rechargeable, but they say the charge lasts a long time, so it should be a nice perk. All right, cows going through there. Cows in. They're going to get some fly spray before they go out with the others. I think I'm going to leave these ones in here and bring some fly spray for them as well. All right, got these cows heading out there to the weeds at the end of these spunks.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Check out our music videos linked in the description. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, and explore our website, www.petersonfarmbrothers.com. See you guys next time.